There's something I forgot. Let me start the slides. So we can add this to our YouTube channel, and Lindsay is going to drop that link in the chat. So our community of practice monthly sessions, you are able to go back and listen to and watch. So in the event that you are unable to, sorry, Naomi, is a little tech challenge in this moment. There we go. If you're unable to make it to one of the monthly community of practice meetings, you can always go back to the YouTube channel and watch that. And we also have the live transcript as well. So let us get started. So many of you are familiar with PFCC Partners, but just in case, for those who are not, this is what PFCC Partners is all about. You see our mission, our vision, and our values. We want to see the health system transformed into one that works for people, works with people, and through communities as a partner in their well-being. We catalyze the system improvements by centering that human experience of health. And we absolutely recognize the critical role that community engagement must play for every effort at delivering health equity. So we know that the healthcare system is very complex. There are millions of people, hundreds of agencies and organizations, and trillions of dollars. It's a complex system that can make it difficult for people to access and having it aligned with their needs. So PFCC Partner believes that a system that centers care and care processes on the person has the potential to reduce that complexity. I'm so excited about today's session because you have an opportunity to hear from our entire team in one session, which is something that we usually don't get the opportunity to hear or do. So I'm super excited about that. So as we think about PFCC Partners, how we recognize the need to open this space for patients, family caregivers, and community voices to drive those improvements in the complex system. We know that these voices are a huge catalyst for improvement and systems change. This team has decades of passionate experiences partnering with healthcare systems and leaders engaging those with lived experiences in their efforts to improve. We, PFCC Partners, works to open spaces, creating partnerships that allow for improvement. We have the PFA network, which many of you are familiar with, but for those of you who are not, our PFA network is the way that helps to fill that space. The PFA network is a community of patient and family advisors for patient family advisors. It's using those lived experiences to influence healthcare improvement. The way, and Laura Jackson will talk more about the PFA network as we go through, but you can see part of with the network is where we have engagement opportunities, skills development, and where we build community. I think Lindsay might be dropping in the chat about the PFA network as well, where you can learn more information there. All right, let's jump in. I am so excited. So today we're gonna learn more about what has happened in the last year and where we're going, and how PFCC Partners is pushing forward and working to accelerate humanity in healthcare. We're gonna hear from our entire team. So we're gonna be doing a bit of passing. And right now I'm gonna pass it over to my colleague, Lucero.
Hi, everyone. There I am. My name is Lucero Cuevas, and I am the office administrator here at PFCC Partners. I have been here for a short time, almost a year, but I am truly excited for the work that's being done and grateful that I get to be part of it in the future. I just recently returned from maternity leave, so I am the one there with the little baby and the 7-year-old. So I'm excited to be here. And again, just grateful that I get to be a part of this work that's being done and get to be part of that future. So thank you, everyone. And I am going to pass it on to Stephen.
Hello, everybody. Stephen Hoy, Chief Operating Officer at PFCC Partners. True small business fashion. I wear a lot of hats: marketing, communications, operations, business development, human resources every now and again, sometimes even IT support. But mostly here to support all the wonderful women I work with here at PFCC Partners. Happy
Thank
birthday.
you, Stephen. Yep. Thank you, Stephen. As we go through, so everybody can see, this is our entire team, but not everyone has introduced themselves. We're going to work our way through. So now, birthday girl, Libby Hoy.
Thank you so much. So I'm Libby Hoy, founder and CEO of PFCC Partners. And Naomi's done a great job of introducing our organization to you. I just really welcome you to our session today. This is kind of one of my favorite ones of the year, quite frankly, because we get to take a look back at what we've done, where we excelled, where we came up short, and where we need to be headed. And so to share all that very transparently with all of you is an exciting day for us. So thank you for taking time out. So what have we been doing? Really understanding the Funfetti approach to patient-family engagement. I think that we launched this sort of mindset about patient-family engagement being an active strategy and baking it throughout the health system, whether that's working with hospitals and ambulatory centers, whether that's working with measure development teams or research teams, really baking in the patient-family perspective, people with lived experience throughout all of those activities. And so we kind of launched that in 2021. And then in 2022, we really saw it deeply interwoven into all of our work and all of our partners' work. And the learnings that we've had, it's just, in my mind, I think one of the biggest advantages of baking patient-family engagement as an active strategy into every organization is its efficiency. It's efficiency. We're seeing patient-family engagement move further upstream into the planning processes for improvement and for research studies, for prioritization even of research studies. We had a great project that looked at priorities. And so we're finding that as we engage the patient-family perspective further upstream in our work, it's more efficient. We're doing fewer reiterations and that sort of thing. So really excited to share, Lindsay will share a few more details about how we've concretely brought the Funfetti approach into our work. But I'd be remiss if on the next slide, I didn't call out the fact that in our cake, it's all about the cake today. I just realized. It wouldn't be a cake for PFCC Partners if we didn't have the most important ingredient, which is to engage diverse populations to build equity. And we've come a long way in learning in 2022 about how to do that more effectively. We in 2020 and 21, we really took a hard look at ourselves to see what does our value of inclusion mean. And I think you've probably heard me say, we realized we weren't doing that very well in actuality. And so we've taken some steps and just continue to learn about how to create more and more opportunities, more doors in more communities for more diverse voices and lived experiences to be informing the health system. And so again, you'll hear a little bit more with Laura Jackson on the PFA network and how we've begun to create more of those doors, if you will. So with that in mind, with our Funfetti approach, bake patient-family engagement, people with lived experience into every single activity within healthcare. With that in mind, I'll turn it over to Lindsay to give us a few specific examples.
Great. Thank you, Libby, and hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Galley. I'm the Vice President of Programs at PFCC Partners. I oversee a lot of the project management for these next set of projects that I'll be reviewing with you, but really lean on the entire team to get all of this work done as well. I'm located in Sacramento, California, as I said. And I've been with PFCC Partners since 2016 after working with PFCC Partners to help the last health system that I was at to engage patients and families into quality improvement teams. So been on both sides and really use all of those experiences to help these next set of organizations engage patients and families in really authentic ways that are directly influencing improvement in healthcare. So on the next slide, I first wanted to talk about our partners at Cynosure HQuick. We were really excited about this partnership when we started about a little over 2 years ago, because we were brought in right at the beginning and patient-family engagement was being influenced right from the start of this project, which was new and very exciting to our organization. So for the past couple of years, we have been supporting that authentic engagement of patient-family partners in both national and local improvement activities. We work with 314 hospitals in 11 states. You can keep going, Naomi, thanks. And these are just a few of the supports that we offer through this project. So first, we have monthly patient-family engagement for equity think tanks where hospitals come together and share their best practices on a variety of topics around patient-family engagement for equity. And that has a wide range. We talk about patient-family engagement at the bedside and bedside rounding, admission planning, discharge processes, and then we talk about engagement in hospital improvement activities. And really, because a majority of these 314 hospitals are rural and critical access hospitals, we've been thinking creatively about what are smaller ways that they can engage patients and families in their improvement activities when they maybe don't have the resources for a formal advisory council. So creating more opportunities in more spaces for patients and families to engage, and we'll talk more about that. We also have, we're delighted to have an online space. So that's what you see there is CLICK, the Cynosure Learning Improvement Connection. And I'll put the link in the chat as well. But what this is, it's really an online learning space. So there are modules on any given improvement topic, from sepsis to basic quality improvement to pressure injury prevention, and it goes on and on. But there are also communities on CLICK as well. We're working on revamping the patient-family engagement for equity community. There's also a social determinants of health community that is very active. We've also been able to add our own course on CLICK, which is the Gateways to Patient-Family Partnership Program. And the hospitals that are part of Cynosure HQuick can go through this module and learn step-by-step on how to develop their own sustainable patient-family partnership program. We also have great partners in the Patient-Family Partnership Council and then the Hub, and I'll talk more about that structure as we go through our other contracts. But these are patient-family partners, people using their lived experiences to influence healthcare, but really influencing and helping us design a lot of the offerings and technical support for these hospitals. So we've brought them in really high up in the ideation of, how we can support these hospitals to really continue to grow their patient-family engagement for equity efforts. And then finally, just one-on-one PFEE support through coaching calls and other opportunities. And I just wanted to touch on a few of the resources that have been brought to the hospitals that we're partnering with. One of which is this Ready, Set, Go. It's a fun twist on looking at the critical processes between pre-admissions, bedside rounding, and discharge. You know, when we look at these three processes, and we looked at these with hospital staff and really understood their processes and what took place in between each of these processes. And then we talked with patient and family partners and how they experienced these three processes. And we put that all on a board. And then, and I'm sure we have a picture of that somewhere, but I didn't add it here. And then Libby worked with, you know, all of the input and insight that we got from patient family partners to move around some processes that happen under each of these, and created this this tool. It's Ready, Set, Go. So, you know, ready, that's that pre-admissions. Set is the bedside rounding. You're getting ready to be discharged, and go is getting out of here. And what we really learned was a lot of the processes that happened in discharge and bedside rounding could be moved up, especially around discharge planning. You know, how can we move those conversations further up in a patient's stay so they have everything that they need upon discharge and when they go home. We do have this resource available, so you can dive in a little bit more. We're working on getting it up on our website and can follow up with the link to that. So that is co-designing at its finest. It's not easy, but it ensures that the tools that we're putting together are going to be relevant for everyone that is using them. And most importantly, will positively impact the patients, because that is that final person who are experiencing these processes. Most recently, we hosted a patient family engagement for equity sprint. And I know we have a lot of patient family partners that participated in this as well. But what we really did was put together 4 sessions to help support hospitals with engaging. We had some goals. We wanted them to identify an improvement activity that they can engage patient family partners on. And it could have been anything. It could have been a survey, a listening session, an interview, or it could have been, you know, we want to develop a formal patient family partnership program for our hospital. And then we wanted to support them in bringing on at least 2 patient family partners to whatever that activity is that they decided. So we started the first session, and these sessions were all about 2 weeks apart, which is why it's called a sprint, because we're moving fast. So the first session, we talked about action planning. We provided an action planning template that hospitals used to identify, you know, all the people that they needed to engage, identify what activity that they wanted to test, really using it as a PDSA, if you're familiar with quality improvement. So they took that action planning template, completed it, started to understand, you know, who are the people that we need to engage, identifying who those patients and family caregivers are that we need to engage, and putting together the steps to whatever that activity is that they wanted to test. The second session focused all around recruitment practices, and how it differs for a listening session or a more formal advisory council. The final session, we just took a look back and talked about lessons learned, and we did that in breakout rooms. That was the one thing that we learned throughout this sprint is these hospitals, we were giving them all of this information about how they can do, you know, how they can set up successful engagement activities and programs. But what they really wanted was that one-on-one time with other hospitals who have been doing this, to learn from one another. They were craving that peer connection. So all throughout this sprint, we modified and changed things to provide more and more opportunities for the hospitals to have that one-on-one connection. And we have plans for future coaching and a reunion so they can even do more of that really peer learning and community building amongst each other. The last session, we did a crossover event with the social drivers of health work going on at Cynosure HQuick. And we focused on co-designing social drivers of health screenings with patient-family partners. We had a lot of interest in this topic. This is a new focus and venture for these hospitals to first develop SDOH screening programs, but we really want to ensure that they're doing so with patients and families to ensure that, you know, how they're asking these questions and the resources that they're able to connect patients and families with are all relevant to, you know, the community that they're serving. Throughout each and every one of these events, I mentioned we had patient-family partners join, share their experiences that were relevant to whatever topic we were focused on. And that was another thing that all participants were really grateful for, was just hearing the perspectives of patients and families. I will also say that all of the patient-family partners helped us develop these sessions and this event. And so just another example of co-designing at its finest, and it turned out to be really impactful for those hospitals that participated. All right, I'm going to talk for just a little bit longer about our next project, and that is our partnership with Comagine Health. Quinn QIO, I'll go ahead and put the link to that in the chat to their website that's on the slide there. So we are working with Comagine Health, our partners at Comagine Health, to support support the development of engagement strategies that are really embedded and tied closely to their organizational tasks. We work within 5 states on the West Coast primarily. And one of our main focuses is the facilitation of their patient-family partnership hub. So on the next slide, I wanted to talk quickly about what is a patient-family partnership hub, because you saw that on the Cynosure HQuick side as well. It's something that we are very fond of because over the last couple of years, we have realized that, you know, we have been inclusive in our own right. You know, we say that our door is always open to any patient or family caregiver that, you know, wants to participate in engagement activities. But what we realized is we maybe didn't have the right doors in the right places. So we developed this partnership hub model to really be an open and inclusive way that organizations can engage patients and families in that can be directly tied to the organization's strategic plan. So the hub is essentially a community of patients and families, but there's no commitment to being part of this community. You know, people can come and go as they please. They can see an engagement opportunity that might be of interest to them. For example, we're working with the Comagine Health team on developing a set of focus groups that is wanting to understand patients' experiences around hospital utilization and readmissions. So, you know, a patient or a patient-family partnership hub member might receive that email for the focus group and say, hey, I have experience with that. I'm going to jump in and participate. But really building a community of patients and family caregivers with a common focus and goal to support the organization's activities, and this being Comagine Health. So we meet monthly with the patient-family partnership hub members, and again, no commitment on those monthly meetings. It's show up if you have the time and would like to, you know, just connect with fellow patient-family partners and learn more about what's going on in the organization. We also provide skills exchanges. So if you're familiar with the PFA network, which Laura will be talking about soon, they have partnership hub members have access to that. But really just that authentic connection to the activities that are going on at Comagine Health. So we have the Patient Family Partnership Hub where patients and families at Comagine Health are supported. They're getting the resources that they need to partner effectively with the organization. They get an orientation, so they have a really good understanding of, where they can have an impact at Comagine Health, which can be, any variety of topics, including chronic kidney disease, immunizations, and a variety of others. So we had this prepared Patient Family Partnership Hub, but realized we needed to prepare staff as well. So on the next slide, you'll see a roadmap that our partner Katie Frazier at Comagine Health developed with our support. So this roadmap is used by staff to, give them all of the information that they need to have a really impactful partnership with the Patient Family Partnership Hub. So starting at the top, we have just general orientation. There's a staff orientation. There's a FAQ, talking points as well. So providing the staff some of that preparation before they then engage with the hub. And we also know that staff at Comagine Health have a wide range of knowledge about patient-family engagement. So we wanted to include everything from 101 to advanced for the staff. And then we have a patient-family engagement checklist that has all of this information as well. There's a request form, of course, for staff to complete and give all of the information that we can pass along to the patient-family partners about that request, whether it is, reviewing documents. We've had a few requests for document review. They're looking at patient-facing materials about I think COVID-19 immunizations and a few others. There was a CKD information guide for patients as well. So staff fills out that request and then they continue along this roadmap. But we found it really effective. Staff appreciate the step-by-step instructions on how to interact with the hub and that additional information along the way to ensure that that engagement activity is successful. The one thing we're working on this year is evaluating and sharing that engagement. So we really have a goal to collect some of these success stories and impact stories and report them out within Comagine Health and the organization to continue to grow that momentum for patient-family engagement within Comagine Health. All right. And lastly, nope, not last, there's one more after this. We also partner with Los Angeles County Department of Health Services. We support them in creating inclusive opportunities for patient and family caregivers' perspectives to inform the work that they're doing. LA County is a safety net, and we work with 3 hospitals and 8 health centers within the county, as well as DHS-wide activities as well. And here we also have developed and are facilitating a patient-family partnership hub. On the next slide, I wanted to talk a little bit further about that hub model. So at Los Angeles County Department of Health Services, they also have patient family advisory councils at those 3 hospitals and 8 health centers. And so the hub really kind of encompasses those advisory councils, but they have 2 different goals or focuses. So the advisory councils are really focused locally on the local health center or hospital's priorities. And the hub is more looking at DHS-wide, excuse me, DHS-wide priorities and activities. So the hub has had an impact in looking at health technology and their patient portal utilization. They've really been working on growing utilization of their patient portal and have worked directly with the hub members on how to communicate that. There's been a lot of work around patient and community communication around a variety of topics. And also, coming this year, looking at patient access And the DHS also has a really huge focus on EDIA, or equity, diversity, inclusion, and anti-racism. We supported the recruitment of their EDIA listening sessions as they were developing the EDIA strategic plan. So that strategic plan was directly impacted by the perspectives of patients, families, and community members. We also offer Spanish interpretation for these meetings because in Los Angeles County, there is a large population of Spanish speakers, and we knew that we needed to hear their perspectives as well. So again, going back to the hub, as I mentioned, there's no commitment to participation there. Typically with advisory councils, there comes a little bit more commitment and, you know, more smaller group activities with structured agendas in that advisory council. That partnership hub just has a little bit more flexibility in participation as well. All right, so that is LA County DHS. And finally, so I can pass it off to Laura. PFCC Partners has partnered with Acumen to bring robust patient-family engagement infrastructure into the measure cycle. Acumen is a really innovative partner, and they believe that the voice of the person with lived experience should be upstream in that measurement life cycle. And so they have worked with us at PFCC Partners to engage over 20 patient-family partners into measurement activities, including focus groups, listening sessions, and technical expert panels on these 3 topics that you can see here. So really valued partners in measure development, which is an exciting place to be. All right, so that is the healthcare partner highlight, and I am going to pass it to Laura Jackson to introduce herself and talk about the PFA network.
Thanks, Lindsay. Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Jackson. I'm the Director of Community with PFCC Partners. I work really closely with our PFA network, which we'll get to now. I see a lot of members of our PFA network on today, so welcome. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. In 2021, we took a look at the number of patient-family partners we engaged in PFA network activities. And we came up with around 185 unique voices. So we thought that for 2022, we would set a goal for 350 unique patient-family caregiver voices engaged. And then at the end of the year last year, we calculated up the number of voices, and it actually came out to 500 plus unique voices engaged in 2022, which we were all really excited and happy about, and definitely celebrated that for sure. We also calculated up the stipends and honorariums distributed out to patient-family partners through our engagement opportunities, and that totaled around $80,000. So a lot of voices, a lot of stipends paid, and we have a lot to celebrate from 2022 and a lot to look forward to in 2023. One of the community events we did in 2022 was the Camden Coalition conference in September. We'd put on a World Cafe. It was during lunchtime. You can see we've got lunch there and fiddle things in the center, but we met with Camden Coalition's, their consumer scholars. So that's what they call their folks with lived experience. And we talked about improving healthcare there, and we did a World Cafe. So at each table, we had a big poster paper with a question at each one and encouraged everyone to draw, write their answers on those poster boards. There were questions like, how would you improve your healthcare, if you had a magic wand, what would you tell your healthcare providers? And it was a really powerful session, and we look forward to doing more like that in the future. Another community event that brought a lot of new voices to the PFA network was our The Color of Care documentary screening. We worked with the production team, the PFA network, this screening free of charge of The Color of Care. And then we did a discussion after. So we had 230 plus viewers of the actual documentary. And then on the discussion, I believe we had about 30 people register for that. And it was a wonderful discussion. You can see some of the shared thoughts there on the screen. We put out a Jamboard so people could add their answers to the discussion questions ahead of time, or if they weren't able to make it, they can still share what they thought of the documentary. And it was an amazing opportunity we had to share this documentary with our network, and we look forward to sharing more screenings in the new year and having more of these really important discussions. And another new thing we did this year was the Conscious Unbiased Skills Exchange with Ayadola Anishe. She came and did a 2-part session with us all about your unconscious and conscious bias. And it was very, very impactful for me personally. I came away with it feeling like I could have these really, really difficult conversations with people about my biases, maybe, or about their biases. And she gave us those tools in a very, very safe space to be able to have those conversations. So that was a really great opportunity we had with that. And here's what we're looking forward to in the new year. We're continuing with our coffee chats. They are the 3rd Friday of the month. The next one is February 17th. Our quarterly town halls, our first one of the year is going to be February 8th. We will be highlighting our partners. All the ones that Lindsay just talked about will have folks actually from those partnerships come and talk to the PFA network about how the network has affected their work. And then we have some skills exchanges coming up as well. We have one in February, which has its own slide a little bit later on, is the core competencies. And that is February 6th, I believe, is the first session of that. It's a 2-part. Measurement basics in April, quality improvement basics in July, and preparing for impactful partnerships in October. So keep an eye out for all those skills exchanges. If you've been to them before, I suggest going to them again if you can. I've, of course, been on multiple, and I learned something new every time. So highly suggest going multiple times. And this, the core competencies, it is Monday, February 6th and February 13th. They're 2 1 hour and a half sessions. And we are offering simultaneous Spanish translation for this one as well. So we'll be learning about what skills you need to be an effective patient family advisor. And you could see those core competencies down there on the right in the triangle. And we will be going deep dive into each one of those for the 2 sessions. And I will go ahead and pass it to Louie. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura, and thanks for all your great work in leading the PFA network community. I think it's just continuing to grow. So all of you who are joining us today as a patient family partner, we welcome you in if you're not involved already. And for those of you who are joining us from health systems who may be partnering with patients and families, it's a great community to help encourage their growth and capacity building around how to be really effective partners. It's a great community. I lean on it constantly. All right, so looking ahead a little bit, what are we going to be doing in 2023, and what are we thinking about? I think we're very focused on accelerating humanity in healthcare. That sounds like a great thing to do. What the heck does it mean, and what does it mean to us? I think that, last year we saw so much fatigue in our frontline staff, so much confusion over why patient safety events were on the rise despite the efforts to provide better care. The demands on our health system leaders to keep the doors open and provide safe, reliable, high quality care has never been heavier than this last year. Our researchers, our community of researchers is struggling under the unprecedented urgency to learn from the pandemic, but to do so in a rigorous and sometimes inflexible system. That's been a huge challenge. The term staff turnover has become so common, I think I hear it 20 times a day, that people have almost become desensitized to it, where we just sort of expect a workforce that is beleaguered and defeated and demoralized. And so, we're of course more aware than ever of the effects of policies and programs that were built on racist foundations and the outcomes those have had on the health of people of color in our country. So at a time when the health system feels like it might be in chaos, it's easy to feel hopeless about the future of our healthcare system in the US. I know I wondered myself many late afternoons sitting in this office wondering, are we really getting anywhere? Are we really having any impact? And I think what Laura and Lindsay shared previously lets us know, yeah, we are having some impact, but not just for us. How do we really think about bringing the healthcare system forward in every way, really accelerating humanity in healthcare? And I love this picture that's on this slide. I took this picture in downtown Long Beach the morning after the riots in response to George Floyd's killing. And as fast as the downtown area was destroyed and broken glass and fires everywhere, it was just as quickly repaired by the community itself. And there's an unknown artist who just started tagging all of the boards that were covering the windows, and messages of hope and of healing. And so I love this photo as a way to think about how we move forward into 2023, because I believe the antidote for all that junk I just mentioned is human connection. And I think that every one of us as an individual has an opportunity, and dare I say, even a responsibility to create human connections in healthcare. Whether you're a patient making an effort to connect with your healthcare provider, whether you're a healthcare provider trying to take care of a community that may need you more than you think you have resource to deliver on. If you're a health system policymaker, those folks are struggling too, to get it right and to help us improve. I think that we really, to continue to make progress forward, need to rely on each other. Singularly, we're not going to have the solution. Collectively, we really can. And the continuity is our human experience. And so with that, I'm really hopeful. I have to tell you, I think humanity and human connection is the antidote. And that's what we're going to move forward with in our year, in 2023. Wow, I just forgot what year it was. I'm excited about this stuff. I feel really passionate about this stuff, which always makes my words go a jumble. But I think that there's strength in our own ability to recognize what we can do when we come together. So let me give you a really quick example. Just a couple of weeks ago in that crossover event that Lindsay mentioned earlier, we were talking about social drivers of health, and we had patient-family engagement embedded in that program because we really felt the need to keep the voice, as Lindsay mentioned, the perspective and the voice of the patient and the family and community member in those program development phases. And what I heard on that crossover event was a deep concern from frontline staff as to screening someone for, say, food insecurity, and having that person test screened positive and not having any resources to give. As a staff member, I can't imagine how soul-sucking that experience would be, right? And then we heard from the patient perspective, the deep concern about, please don't ask me these vulnerable questions if you don't have something to offer me. So everyone is concerned about this gap that we have in the system. And I wish I had a magic wand that I could fix that one immediately. I don't have it, but I have faith in the fact that as we bring people together, all of those perspectives, all of those, that the common thread is concern for one another, concern that we have resources to provide. And so I think this really seeking out what are those topic areas, those challenges that are unique to patients, to family caregivers, to clinicians, to health systems, and let's move forward together on those. So that's really what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about accelerating humanity in healthcare. And on the next slide, I'll share a couple of opportunities in addition to the ones carrying forward that Lindsay mentioned. Oh, did we miss a slide? There we go. Yeah, thanks. In addition to the ones that Lindsay mentioned, we've got some new opportunities as well. And so within the bucket of health systems, we'll continue that work with LA County Department of Health Services and with LA Care, which is a health plan for our Medicaid population here in Los Angeles County. In the quality improvement bucket, we'll have an opportunity to continue our work with HQIC and expand our diversity and inclusion of the patient-family perspective in all of those technical assistance. We have a new opportunity with the California Quality Collaborative to improve primary care access and availability for our Medicaid population, again, here in Los Angeles County. In the research realm, we are continuing our aging initiative work to accelerate patients and families informing aging research for people with multiple chronic conditions. We have a new PCORI project that we're just launching this month on ICU communication. So we're teaming with our LA County Department of Health Services and Kaiser partners to learn and create a research community with patients and families, of course, to define what would it look like if we had really good quality communication in the intensive care unit setting, particularly around potentially non-beneficial treatments. An exciting new project. And then in the measurement space again, moving forward with acumen in the clinician compare and really moving that patient perspective very, very far upstream so that the compare websites are meaningful to patients and family caregivers so that patients and family caregivers can go to those compare sites and make decisions based on information, good quality information about where and with whom they receive their care. And then a newer project with the National Quality Forum, Aligned Innovation Project, whereby we'll be convening focus groups for a variety of different, primarily behavioral health topics, as well as maternal child health topics, and seeking to facilitate how we move information from people with lived experience into the National Quality Forum Aligned Innovation, so that again, measuring what is important to women who are experiencing childbirth, measuring what's important in our behavioral health realm. And so I guess the one key aspect or the common thread of all of this, how do we advance humanity in healthcare? I think for us, this year is going to be a year of learning. It is really going to be a year of listening and learning, looking at some frameworks like the National Academy of Medicine's Community Engagement Framework, learning how do we do that better? What do we need to understand about health systems? What do we need to understand about underserved communities? How do we create bridges in all of those places? So we're going to be doing a lot of listening and learning with some really fantastic partners, all of you on this call included in that bucket as well. Another opportunity then on the next slide is bringing back our PFCC conference. people, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to try this in person and it's going to work or it's not, but we're going to learn along the way. But we are really excited to be coming back into person. And we hear from a lot of our treasured partners that they're also excited to be coming to Los Angeles in May as well. I wanted to mention and invite all of you to submit for the proposals for the conference. We've got some unique types of presentations you might take a look at. Really do want to build a community of learning and invite all of you to share your efforts around engaging the patient and the family to create a health, equitable health system. The other thing I want to just note on that conference date, request for proposals is open. On the date, many of you who might be in our CMS quality improvement programs might recognize that conflicts with the annual CMS quality conference. And so the quality conference is once again going to be offered virtually. So what we intend to do is have a room where that conference will be available to folks that want to step into one of those sessions. So we want all that information coming in together. All right. And then I think that pretty well takes us to the top of the hour. It looks like we've got a few minutes left if anybody has any questions or thoughts. And I've not been tracking the chat box, Naomi. So if there's anything in there, I should be paying attention to.
No, but I'd like for all of us to sing happy birthday to Libby. Can we do that?
Connie.
I'm gonna let you cue that up and lead it because there's over 50 people. So we might
That's fine. That's fine. You gotta believe, honey. You gotta believe. All right, y'all ready? On the count of 3, we're all gonna start with happy birthday to Libby. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Libby. Happy birthday to you. We love you, Libby, and many more. Many more.
Oh my goodness, Connie and everyone, thank you so much. Wow, just totally made my day. You know, it is such a privilege to be in this work with all of you. And, you know, it gets hard sometimes. We're not always going to get to see that outcome as clearly as we might want to, but I just celebrate the fact that I get to be in this work with all of you, and your dedication inspires us constantly. So thank you so much. And I would be remiss if I didn't call out my amazing team, Stephen, Lindsay, Laura, Naomi, Lucero, everyone else that's not present. You guys all make us better. So thank you very much. What a celebration. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Connie. I was waiting for the 1, 2, 3 to go, and but we have it recorded, Libby. It will live on in posterity.
You all know I get so excited. I just go into action.
I love it. I love it.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, everyone, for coming and participating with us today. So we have done a lot of, when I say we, not just PFCC partners, but you all as part of the network. We have done some amazing work this last year, and great things are just beginning in 2023. Are there any other questions, or are there any questions? I didn't see any questions yet, or comments. Remember to register for the conference. If we have any partners, we do have our monthly, these meetings are community of practice, and we do have dates that are still available. So we welcome you. If you have work that you are doing and would love to share with the community, please submit your proposal, and we would love to invite you to join us to share. And if there is nothing else, I'm going to give you 3 minutes back on this fabulous Friday.
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
I want to encourage everyone to head over to our new Instagram at PFCC Partners and wish Libby a happy birthday there.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lindsay.
It's on the screen, but for those who may not be able to see it, it's at PFCC Partners. That is the Instagram tag. Thank you, Lindsay. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can engage with us on LinkedIn as well. Fabulous. Well, thank you all. I'm going to give you 2 minutes back to your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great weekend. Be safe.
So.
Have a good time.
Thanks all.